Family Ties wasn't just comfort TV. It was a cultural chessboard. Every laugh line was layered with meaning, with characters playing stand-ins for ideals that clashed in real-world politics. And here's the shocking part. The audience at the time knew it too. That sitcom wasn't hiding behind jokes, it was showing you America at war with itself. And in this list of 13 hidden meanings, you'll see how subtle details exposed entire ideological battles taking place right in the living room. Number 1, the parents represent the 60s. Imagine flipping on the TV in the mid-80s and realizing the parents on screen still spoke like the summer of love never ended. Stephen and Elise Keaton weren't just sitcom mom and dad, they carried the spirit of 60s counterculture straight into suburban Ohio. That meant dinner table conversations that sounded like they were lifted from campus rallies 2 decades earlier.
Yes, all the dots seem to be in place.
Okay, fine, Mallory. You're first. Okay.
They were written as activists who still valued protest, equality, and individual freedom. Stephen's idealism meshed with Elise's openness, hinting at free love and rejecting blind trust in institutions. Meanwhile, mainstream America was chasing business careers, luxury homes, and conservative respectability. For viewers, the Keatons mirrored parents who never tossed their old protest signs in the attic, which makes the twist clear. The Keatons weren't generic sitcom placeholders, they were television's reminder that the 60s never really left American homes. Quick pause before we dive into the next hidden meaning. If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. We've got even deeper Family Ties theories. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Number 2, Alex as the 80s conservative icon. Then there was Alex P. Keaton, walking through the door in a crisp suit like he had just stepped away from a stock exchange instead of a high school locker. He carried himself like a miniature executive, a sharp break from the mellow ideals surrounding him.
I want you to come home with me. Excuse me, but the Colonel happens to be my date.
Alex worshipped the icons his parents despised: Nixon, Reagan, and the booming promise of Wall Street. His enthusiasm wasn't gentle ribbing, it was full embrace of conservative politics at a time when the country tilted that way. The clash made him stand out, but it also made him a reflection of a new youth identity. Audiences laughed at his arrogance and obsession with money, yet the humor carried approval too. Behind the punchlines was normalization. Alex wasn't background color. He became the symbol of an America rallying behind ambition, profit, and a conservative tide. Number 3, Mallory as consumerism. Mallory was easy to dismiss as the ditzy sister, but that surface-level reading misses the point. Her fixation on shopping, clothes, and appearances wasn't just about comic timing, it was how the show mirrored a culture where buying became identity. When Mallory lit up at a mall trip, it wasn't random. It symbolized a generation raised in food courts, arcade halls, and endless racks of neon sweaters.
Hey, I got a great idea. I can make some popcorn and we can all watch old movies on TV.
There you go. Great idea.
Okay, why don't you kids do that and we'll just tootle upstairs here.
Her character turned consumerism into personality. In the 80s, being into fashion wasn't only style, it was loyalty to a growing market culture. Mallory embodied both the humor and the truth of that shift. She lived as a parody of material obsession while still showing its real pull on young audiences. That's why she mattered. Mallory showed that capitalism wasn't just policy, it was lifestyle embedded right in teenage rituals. Number 4, Jennifer as the forgotten middle ground. Jennifer was always the quietest member of the family, and because of that, she often slipped out of the spotlight. Her role may have seemed lighter, but that absence was the point. She became the stand-in for everyone who didn't see themselves in extreme positions. She wasn't chasing big profits, she wasn't lost in fashion trends, and she wasn't reliving past protests.
Now who could take that personally?
Mom, we really need to talk. I need to reevaluate my whole life. Do you have a minute?
Jennifer's perspective was grounded, practical, and usually brushed aside. Yet in many scenes, her steady voice revealed what compromise could look like in a house full of heated debates. That silence carried meaning. The middle ground often disappears in cultural battles, drowned out by louder visions fighting to dominate. Jennifer symbolized that missing space, not by winning arguments, but by existing as the reasonable voice rarely given center stage. In her, moderation was present, but quietly ignored. Number 5, the clash equals America's culture war. The Keaton house looked warm and funny, but it was really a stand-in for a country split down the middle. Every joke about politics or lifestyle was staging a debate Americans were already having in their own homes. The parents carried one vision of the past while the kids grabbed hold of the future. That clash turned family banter into something bigger. It wasn't just about curfews or homework.
I've got something that I'd like to give now. It's for you, Elise.
For me, you shouldn't have.
Should I take it back?
Don't you dare.
It was about what values would define the next decade. Viewers laughed, but those laughs covered serious fights over gender roles, money, and national identity. Think of it like watching the evening news reworked into sitcom rhythm. You could relax, but you couldn't escape. The arguments never stayed abstract. They lived in the kitchen and the living room. That's why the Keatons worked. Their household was America's cultural battlefield. Number 6, Stephen's job at PBS. Stephen Keaton didn't just clock in at some vague office job, he worked at PBS. That detail mattered. It made him more than a sitcom dad, it made him a symbol of public service media at a time when the very idea of funding it was questioned. In the 80s, debates over PBS weren't background noise, they reflected larger fears about whether culture should be driven by profit or by shared values.
You almost hit that bicycle.
Stephen stood on that line every day, representing the side that believed television could teach and challenge without selling out. Meanwhile, commercial TV elevated ad dollars and market ratings above everything else. That contrast sharpened Stephen's role. He wasn't chasing cultural trends, he was resisting them. His career became shorthand for holding on to 60s-era ideals, proof that not every corner of America had given in to Wall Street's rules. Number 7, Elise's role as an architect. Elise's career as an architect wasn't some random job chosen out of a hat. It mattered because it shaped how the show positioned her, not just as a mum with opinions, but as a professional shaping real spaces in the world around her. The writers placed her in a field that carried weight. It meant she was a builder in both the literal and symbolic sense. At a time when sitcom mothers were often tied to kitchens or laundry rooms, Elise was drawing blueprints and leading projects.
I was held up at work. Traffic was awful. How am I supposed to cook an impressive dinner for 8 important friends in 20 minutes?
What about the proper penguin?
That was a statement. Her role carried echoes of second-wave feminism, where women pushed to be recognized as thinkers, planners, and leaders. Every design she created on paper became more than a workplace detail. It was a quiet reminder that Elise's very existence challenged stereotypes, proving intellect and creativity weren't confined to men's careers. Number 8, Nixon and Reagan references. Family Ties dropped presidential names like they were punchlines. Nixon and Reagan didn't just pop up as casual jokes, they were cultural markers the characters used to signal where they stood. For Alex, admiring them wasn't random, it was an outright declaration of his worldview. For his parents, it often sounded like blasphemy.
My fellow Americans. I can't thank you enough.
That clash played out in quick lines that the audience could laugh at, but each reference carried heavy baggage. Nixon meant corruption and distrust of government. Reagan meant free markets, patriotism, and the conservative wave taking hold. When Alex put them on a pedestal, it made dinner table talk feel like a referendum on national direction. The beauty of it was how digestible it became. Every quip about a president doubled as shorthand for larger ideological wars happening outside the sitcom's walls. Number 9, Alex's girlfriend, Ellen. When Ellen walked into Alex's story, she changed the tone instantly. She wasn't another ambitious figure drawn to power suits or profit margins. She was artistic, thoughtful, even a little fragile, and in that difference, she became his mirror opposite. Their romance turned into more than a subplot, it was a symbolic tug of war.
You just don't love me no more.
Alex represented a future built on money, while Ellen held on to passion and emotion. Watching them together felt like the country's argument about whether authenticity could survive in a culture demanding success at any cost. Ellen softened him. Her presence cracked his polished armor, showing viewers that beneath his obsession with markets, he still longed for connection. That's why their relationship mattered. It revealed that even in love, the 80s couldn't fully escape the struggle between cold ambition and soulful intimacy. Number 10, Nick as the outsider. Nick showed up like a blast of cold air in the Keaton household. As Mallory's new boyfriend, his scruffy style and working-class edge clashed instantly with the tidy, intellectual balance her family lived in. He didn't speak the same polished language, and that made him impossible to ignore. What unsettled everyone was how little he fit into their social mold. While the Keatons discussed politics or culture, Nick represented something harder to box in: life without suburban privilege. His humor came from awkward encounters and blunt remarks, but beneath each gag was a subtle reminder of the divide between classes that most sitcoms politely skipped over. That was the real weight of his presence. Nick reminded viewers that America's culture war wasn't only about political labels, it was about class, status, and who got to belong. Number 11, the Keaton house as safe space. Why did it matter that every argument on the show happened at home? Because the Keaton house wasn't just scenery, it was the comfort bubble where clashing ideologies could meet without breaking bonds. The floral couch, the open kitchen, the cozy living room design all made sure the set felt safe, even when the dialogue wasn't.
10. Oh, I'm on the jail square.
Relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're just visiting. Okay, my turn.
That sense of safety meant heated talk never tipped into rupture. Instead, disagreements became part of daily rhythm, as ordinary as grabbing a snack from the fridge. Viewers watching in their own living rooms saw an imitation of their lives, proof that political feuds could play out as family debates, not hostile standoffs. That balance was the show's quiet reassurance. The Keaton home symbolized a split nation under one roof, showing that difference didn't erase connection, it simply redefined it. Number 12, Alex's rise equals America's shift. By the late 80s, Alex P. Keaton wasn't just another sitcom son, he had become the breakout face of the entire show. What started as a character set up for laughs turned into a magnet for attention. The audience wasn't just watching him argue with his parents anymore, they were tuning in for him. That shift lined up with a bigger cultural turn. Conservatism was no longer seen as a fringe rebellion against the counterculture, it had stepped into the mainstream spotlight.
Oh, by the way, Effie called. She said, when you pick her up tonight, dress casual.
Alex's obsession with Wall Street and his admiration for political figures once framed as controversial began to resonate, not repel. Here's the twist. What was once satire had become celebration. Viewers who were supposed to chuckle at Alex's greed started cheering him on. His rise showed America wasn't mocking 80s conservatism anymore, it was embracing it. Number 13, the final episode. Then came the finale, the moment where years of family debates and clashing ideals finally reached their end. It wasn't just another wrap-up, it was designed as closure for a story that mirrored an entire cultural shift. Alex's decision to head for Wall Street worked on two levels. On screen, it was the next logical step for his character. Symbolically, though, it marked the country's full embrace of money-driven ambition. Watching his parents send him off with tears and pride revealed their own surrender. They weren't just letting go of a son, they were letting go of the 60s dream that had guided them. The ending played like a family goodbye, but the weight was larger.
Love you guys.
That final send-off was America itself, closing the chapter on its counterculture legacy, leaving the hope of reconciliation behind. Family Ties wasn't just entertainment, it was a roadmap through conflict. By weaving politics, class, and culture into everyday family life, the show worked as a guide for audiences who felt those same tensions at home. It turned abstract battles into personal ones, and in the process, made ideology something you could laugh at without ignoring. If you recognize those same clashes in your own family, or still see echoes of them today, drop a comment and let me know what you think. And before you go, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives, because the past keeps shaping the present.